you can hear me. Here we go. Okay, this video is called How and Why the Elites Promote Generational Warfare. Okay, so as we all know, uh, there seems to be a lot of generational warfare or conflict going on between various generations, between different generations, between the parents and our children. So the question is, why do the elites do this, and are they doing it? And the answer to that is yes, the elites are promoting that there should be a conflict and a divergence and a difference between generations, and that they really shouldn't get along that well. And also, they are doing that for their own benefit. Now, the reason the elites would do that is because if your children or your parents, if you don't get along with them, and you don't relate to them because they're very different than you are, well, then what's going to happen is you're going to end up not passing down generational wealth. You're not going to have your house and your wealth go from one generation to the next. You're not going to have dynastic wealth. You're not going to be able to build an empire out of your family. So there are families that do that, and they don't let their children behave in the way that it's promoted that you should let your children and behave, and the things that they should be exposed to regarding music and television shows and movies, and just what they get programmed to in their schools and things like that. Okay, so the reason is, of course, it's not just money, but it's also power and being, having a family. If your family sticks together and your family has the same traditions and customs they've always had, and sticks with their tribal or familial customs and traditions, then they're going to be able to pass their properties and their wealth down from one generation to the next. Now, if, on the other hand, you get some parents in there, but when they have kids, they let their kids watch television and they go off in somewhere else and let their kids just watch TV, they'll be programmed to be very different from their parents. Because if you have both generations watching television or watching movies or going to school or whatever, they're going to be given a different, completely the opposite set of values, whether it comes to clothing or what's right and wrong, or what you're supposed to talk about, what you're not supposed to talk about, whatever the popular culture is at the time, or whether it's popular to not talk about culture, or it's popular to talk about culture, or what language is popular, or what countries are popular, or whatever, what race is popular, and also what kind of words you can use, because they'll have words that are popular and that you have to use, that are appropriate to use in one generation. Then the next generation, they'll tell you that those are not popular. If you use those, we'll kick you out. And that's to make the racists think that the other, make the racists fight, but also to make the families think that their older generation was racist when they weren't. They were just doing what they were told to do at the time, what was supposed to be nice to say back then. And then the kids think, and especially the grandkids think, oh, those old people, they're so racist, or they're so stupid. No, it's just that what they were told to do is just different. It's just different. Okay. So, and if you're exposed to general social media, it's going to be easy to get the generations to fight. And then guess who's going to get the money in the house? The banks. That's who's going to get the house and the money. And if you tell young people that old people are stupid and not to talk to them, and they're racist and stupid, then what's going to happen? Then not even somebody that's more like you than your own kids are going to get your money and your house, because they're not going to like you, and you're not going to like them because they're going to be mean to you, and they're not going to like you, and you're not going to like them. And guess who's going to get your house and your money? The churches. The church will get it. The preachers will get it. Or the church will get it. The institutions will get it. The banks, the churches. So the best thing you can do if you don't get along with anybody in your family is to take something like, say you have, like, if your spouse has some kind of creative project, like, music or paintings or whatever, you can promote that and use your money to get that promoted. So at least something of your dynasty, remains. But the best thing you can do is teach your children about this, and make sure that your children understand this so that they can get your house and they can get your money, and not have you be such enemies that you don't want your kids to have anything. So that you won't want to punish your kids, and that your kids won't want to tell you, I don't want what you have anyway. I don't want your filthy money, and I don't want your filthy house and all this, because they really do need it. Okay. So this is what's going on, and this is what has to be corrected. And I realized this one day when I noticed that the kind of things, it wasn't so bad between my parents and myself, but I noticed it in small things, like little behaviors and little suggestions of ways to behave, clothes to wear, where one generation would say, like, I remember my dad thought it was disgusting if I didn't wear socks with my tennis shoes. But in the 80s, because of the TV show Miami Vice, everybody was running around not wearing socks with their tennis shoes because it was popular, because, we thought it was cool. But of course he thought, oh, gross, you have to wear socks. But that's a very small example, but that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. But those can be built up into very large things, and like the things I talked about. And another thing that happened was, like, because of movies, like when I watch I love old movies, and I love Betty Davis and Joan Crawford, and I realized that a lot of things that my mother was doing, when she told people that, like, I made her walk around with holes in her shoes and I demanded a new dress, that isn't true. I never said that. I never demanded a new dress and made my mother walk around with holes in her shoes. But that's not even true. But it was out of a Joan Crawford movie. I think it was called Mildred Pierce. And then I saw that movie and I realized where my mother got that from. And my mother used to walk around calling herself old and ugly. And I realized she got that from when Betty Davis played Queen Elizabeth. And so then I did something that Rebecca Howe did on Cheers. It said, hey, why don't you and me, Mom, why don't we figure out a way to get Dad to give us more money? She thought that was horrible, never spoke to me again. But that I was doing something that came out of a TV show that I saw. I was being programmed. So those programs are programs for a reason. They're called programs for a reason. You're being programmed. It's predictive programming, but it's more than that. It's just programming you. It's just a script. The Bible is not a predictive mechanism. It is a script, and it's being followed. Okay, that's all I got to say for now. Thank you.